Whoa, whoa, wee wah. Episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett melted the collective minds of Star Wars fans around the world. In this video, I want to talk about what I thought about the episode, all of the fun lore, the way this explains how the future of the Filoni-Verse is going to work, and how I think the fan base will react. Holy crap, we have a lot to get into. What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Avengers Tower. Smash like on this video if you think it was a brilliant move by Lucasfilm to hire the YouTuber Shamook to do the deep fake with Luke Skywalker. And personally, I'm like, oh my god, he did such a good job, bro. Book of what? Boba? Who? And yeah, I mean, come on, yeah, it's real. Like, this really wasn't much of a Book of Boba Fett episode yet again. But when the episodes are this good, who gives a I, like many other fans, thought this episode was absolutely incredible. We were hyped up for the episode, but man, it delivered everything I wanted and more. And towards the end of the video, I will talk a little bit more about like the show overall, how fans should be feeling about it, and sort of the weirdness of Boba really not playing a part in these last two episodes. I'll do that at the end. But first, I got a message for the Star Wars fans. Come here, Star Wars fans. It's okay. I just want you to know that it's okay to be hyped up about things. It's okay to expect really cool, fun, fan servicey stuff.
Inconceivable.
I know Disney Star Wars has hurt you. I know you feel like you can't love again. But John and Dave are taking good care of us. And it's okay to expect really fun things. And I wanted to start with that because, man, it was such a weird experience for me making content before this episode came out. The way I saw it after episode 5, I was like, okay, here we go. It's Luke time. Here we go. We're getting Grogu. Oh, man, I'm so excited to see how they do this. And yet a ton of Star Wars fans out there rejected this idea, even got a little upset at the prospect of doing another Book of Boba Fett episode with no or little Boba Fett himself. I was genuinely blown away that so many of you out there thought they wouldn't do this, that I was getting too hyped up with expecting Luke to be in the episode. And I'd like to gloat just a little bit, but I'm gonna do it with respect.
We will always treat with respect.
I am the greatest prognosticator that there ever was or will be when it comes to predicting Star Wars and Marvel content.
And don't you f***ing forget it, man. All right, so now let's talk about this episode. Holy crap, starting the episode off with Cobb Vanth. Cameo I wasn't necessarily expecting, but was quite pleased to receive. He was awesome. The scene works really, really well. But then very quickly after the title of the episode comes out, you see the N1 cruiser going to a green planet, and it is Mando arriving at the planet where Luke Skywalker will eventually build the temple that we see in the sequel trilogy. And I know some of you just got triggered at the idea of this leading to the sequel trilogy. I don't know what to tell you. I don't love those movies either, but they're not going to retcon them. We're heading towards sequel. I think you're getting even more sequel stuff in episode 7, by the way. And I liked the Mando stuff with R2. It was really fun. He's just watching the droids build the temple. But when it gets to Grogu and Luke, holy crap, I was blown away. It is obvious with hiring Shamook, they have taken the idea of bringing Luke Skywalker from that time back to life to a whole new level. And while there were a few moments where you can kind of see that it's not an actual person, and they do use some interesting angles to at times hide some of Luke's face, overall, I am blown away by the work they have done here, and I think it's going to get even better as they move forward. This is a massive improvement on what we got in The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, and even that was totally serviceable for the story and made us all melt inside. This takes that to the next level where you can legitimately write character stuff with Luke Skywalker, and it's great. Like, some of the facial acting that they're able to do here not only elevates the scene, but kind of builds this interesting tension in the character of Luke himself. I mean, one of the things I love about Luke in this episode is that he is kind of struggling himself. He has some kind of a vision for what he wants to do, but he doesn't know exactly what to do with Grogu, and he even asks Ahsoka for her advice. And then, obviously, Ahsoka being in the episode unbelievable. She has incredible dialogue with Din Djarin. I feel like she feels even more like Ahsoka than she did before. I think Rosario Dawson has been practicing, as you would expect, as they get ready to do the actual Ahsoka show. But she was excellent. But even crazier than her stuff with Din was her stuff with Luke. I mean, she's literally saying so much like your father. That was unbelievable. She's giving him a little bit of advice, talking about how sometimes the student, guides the teacher and things of that nature. And it just feels so right and good that they were able to actually do character stuff with Luke. Like, it's one thing if you throw Luke Skywalker in some, Disney Plus content, it's really, really cool. But if they really want to tell more stories with Luke, that's going to require him to be an actual character. And I think they nailed it in that regard. And let's talk about Grogu. I mean, dude, Grogu is as cute as ever, maybe cuter than he's ever been in this episode. And also, he's getting a lot of interesting development as a character, and I love how his development parallels to Din Djarin. We see Grogu actually training and getting physical, jumping around. We see him meditating and learning to control his Force abilities, but we also get a flashback to his time in the Jedi Temple during Order 66. This was mind-blowing to me. We're literally seeing the Jedi Temple being attacked in live action, and it's Grogu's memory. By the way, I think that kind of implies that they're going to take him and he's going to be taken to Palpatine and maybe train with Palpatine for a time, which is really interesting, but we'll do that in a later video. Now, going back to some stuff on Tatooine, Din Djarin leaves, deciding not to see Grogu, but he does give the armor to Ahsoka to give to the child. But back on Tatooine, we get kind of an incredible sequence of scenes where Boba's there with everybody, rallying the troops. Din Djarin thinks he can get even more help recruited, and he goes out to Freetown to meet with Cobb Vanth and talk to him about possibly joining Boba's cause. And man, Timothy Olyphant is incredible, and this scene is so Western and so fun. It's like this scene didn't have to be that cool, but it really was. I mean, everything from him commenting on the N1 to him saying the deputy was new to the bartender from the season of Mando being there and making his comments. It all just feels right. It's a very fun scene. And then as soon as Mando leaves, you get another incredible, albeit fan servicey cameo with Cad Bane making his live action appearance. And again, I'm going to gloat a little bit. We did call that in our coverage of the rumors, but look, I'm mostly right, with respect.
Don't ever doubt me again.
Now, in my first viewing of the Cad Bane scene, I was like, oh man, I like this a lot, but I'm not completely sold on the look for Cad Bane. I've watched the episode multiple times since, and I think it works perfectly. I think it's such a fun rendition, feels exactly like the character. The voice acting is great. The details in the either puppeteering or CGI or a probably blend of both, I think is incredible. What a fun entrance for this character into live action, and I think we're assured to see Cad Bane versus Boba in the finale now, which is just another thing for fans to get incredibly hyped up about. Now let's talk about the Filoni-Verse, because here's the thing, man. This episode really just nails it home. Like, at this point, if you don't understand that what they are doing with these shows spinning out of The Mandalorian is very Marvel-esque, then I don't know what to do for you. They're putting in fun connective tissue. They're putting in fun cameos for fans, and Luke and the story of what's going on with the galaxy as far as the Jedi is going to play some kind of a big role in all of these shows moving forward. Now, we don't know for sure how this is all going to tie together when it comes to Ahsoka, but the smart money seems to be on the fact that they are adapting some version of Heir to the Empire and setting up a series of spin-off shows that will lead into something, possibly even being released in the cinemas, that will be something like an Avengers film with all of these different Star Wars characters. And I'm so here for it because I feel like it's more than just fan service. Like, I know it's fan service, and that is fair to point out, but to me, it feels like fan service done correctly. These are the types of people that have the care and the understanding of these characters to usher them into a live action story in a way that feels natural and organic. It enhances the experiences that I've had with these characters before and makes me extra excited to see how it's all going to play out in the future. This is the perfect formula. If you look out on social media right now in the wake of this episode, episode. That is what Star Wars needs. They need more of this to make fans excited and to make fans hyped up for things to come. I don't think that Star Wars is dead, but I have been saying for some time that I think Star Wars as a brand is in a precarious situation. It is in a little bit of a shaky spot. But if they can deliver this quality of content that gets fans this excited over and over again, they will win a lot of people back over. And I think the brand will end up being in a much better spot than I think it was right after The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I know there are some fans out there that are still not loving this show, and I think there's a contingent of fans that are going to ultimately be disappointed that this show didn't do enough for the character of Boba Fett and instead spent a lot of its money, time, and resources on amplifying Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, Mando, other characters in the Filoni-Verse. But I think we really need to shift into thinking about these shows as sort of Marvel-esque movies, like in the same way that Captain America Civil War is technically a Captain America movie that really is about the Avengers and the entire Marvel world. That's what's going on in the Book of Boba Fett. We are really seeing what is happening in the shared Star Wars universe at this time period around this Mandalorian stuff, and I think it's great. If you're personally a little upset that there wasn't more fun Boba stuff, I'm with you. I understand that, but I can't be mad at this show. This is incredible stuff, dude. This is like everything I've been hoping for, from more Luke, from Mando, from Ahsoka, all of it. It's incredible. I mean, Cad Bane's nuts, dude. Like, how can you be upset about this? Even though, like, I see some people that have that attitude, I can't meet you there. Basically, this is the way. Look, I'm sure you have some thoughts about this episode. Put them in the comment section here, but come on by a live stream over on our live streaming channel. We're going to be talking about this a lot, and I'm definitely interested in hearing what everybody thinks. I'm also going to do at least a couple of videos in the next couple of days about Grogu's big decision at the end of the episode, what I think he's going to do. I want to talk about Luke and the Jedi Temple and where I think the Filoni-Verse is going from here. So, ton of fun content coming to you. If you like this video, smash like on it. It helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel to see more of our content pop up in your recommended feed. Check me out on TikTok. Check out the podcast on Spotify and Apple. And again, highly recommend you come on by for a live stream. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.